Hey guys, what is going on? So I just wanted to discuss Vitruvian Physique's video that he posted today about his Turkesterone progress. I think it's been about 10 days, so he was logging like his first week. And obviously a lot of people are expecting crazy results within a week. I know this firsthand because I've had a lot of you guys, say your results after the first week logging that. Whereas for me, I've kind of been doing this and had enough people kind of report back to me to know that you're going to see results further down the line, and the longer that you're on it, I think that's going to be more beneficial. So the first thing that I really want to discuss, and the reason why I'm kind of hopping on the video, is because he talked about his dosage and how he was able to up it because Derek sent him a few more bottles. So this is something I discussed in my first video when I was talking about why I didn't really I think he was taking 3 initially and he bumped it up to 4. And this is something where, with my experience specifically, and I know that it varies from every single person. Some people are going to react to certain dosages and others are not going to. But I personally started taking 4 capsules a day and I saw no results for the first month. Now, this could be, once I started to up my dosage, I did see results. And so this could be due to either A, upping my dosage, or B, it just, took a month to start working for me. So, I know many of you have taken less than 4 capsules and still seen something. I know a lot of you have, done 4, 3, whatever, and you've seen results. So I'm not saying you need to take 6. I'm saying for me, where I noticed my best results, or really any results at all, were on 6 a day. And fortunately, I was able to have enough of a supply to actually be able to continue to use 6 for a long period of time. In fact, Gorilla Mine actually got me some free bottles. So that really allowed me to be much more of a guinea pig at a higher dosage. Now, that being said, throughout the course of the experiment, I got up to about 240 pounds, which is significantly, heavier than a lot of you guys are ever going to be. And so maybe 6 is the equivalent to 4, or just the way that certain people react. But this is a really good thing. I think realistically, I think he should go to, be at 4 and maybe taper up. I don't really know how he plans to do it or what he's willing to go with in terms of dosages. But to me, I think 4 is probably going to be effective for somebody of his size. You can't really know because obviously people react differently. But this is kind of a main problem that I see with a lot of people, especially with Turkesterone, is that specifically Derek's, is that considering it's so relatively expensive, and even though I think it's a really good product, it is pretty expensive, and so therefore people are only trying to take like 1 or 2 a day, and I just don't think that's really all that effective. So that's one reason why I kind of went into Muscle Empire, because you can get 180 capsules for somewhere between $45 and $65, depending on where you are, where you get it, all that good stuff. But $45 for 180 versus, Derek's was going for around that same price when you include the discount for 60 capsules. And you could take realistically 3 times the amount in terms of the capsules, and obviously dosages can vary. I know Turkesterone is stronger. I know that Derek's is complex. So really comparing apples to oranges there, but that's just one reason why I kind of went with the Muscle Empire and why I was kind of encouraging people to take that, because I think it's just a little bit more cost effective. Now, kind of a happy medium is actually, as I've talked about here, Huge Supplements Ecdysterone. So theirs is also complex, so it has, a higher dosage. You can get away, and a lot of people have seen great results on 2 capsules of that per day, which, with Derek's Turkesterone, I think that's probably the equivalent of about 4. So Huge Supplements is a bit more expensive than Derek's, but considering you would be taking half as many capsules, it ends up being cheaper. And so far, I found it to be pretty effective. I also have found Muscle Empire to be effective. So just in terms of where you kind of want to go for price range, I think at the end of the day, you shouldn't sacrifice a dosage to just save on money. If you want to save on money, I would just recommend going for a cheaper option as opposed to buying a more expensive one and then just underdosing it and then blaming that on the product as opposed to just not taking an efficacious dose. So that's one of the main problems I had when he was taking 3. 4 is probably going to be fine for him. I don't really know. I would hope that he would taper up to 6, considering he got a few more bottles, but we'll see about that. The second thing that he discussed, which I think is really important, is he was talking about how he is kind of a prime example as somebody who's been lifting for 15 years. He's pretty much at his natural limit, if not, he's already there. And that's kind of why he talked about with his experiment, he's upping his volume and his food intake, and why that's actually beneficial for his experiment, considering, he's already at his peak. Anything that he would gain past where he's already at could be attributed to turkesterone. And that's one reason why I thought I was a good example of it. And that's why, considering the gains that I made when I was on turkesterone and ectosterone, I think that really kind of shows, because I have been lifting for 12 years on and off. And so I think I'm a much better example. Obviously him being 15 years, he's probably been a little bit more consistent than I have. But just overall, going for advanced, people who've been lifting for a while, I think that shows what the product can actually do. And that's just something that, he had a comment where somebody said their bench went from 135 for a max, and then it went to like 7 reps or something like that. And, Igor is basically saying like, hey, dude, if you're only benching 135, no offense, but that's not really going to, that's still kind of in like the newbie phase. Like, you're not really going to be accurately representing what turkesterone can do at that level. And that's something I've kind of preached to a lot of you guys. I'm not saying you have to be advanced to take this stuff. You can do whatever you want. It's your money. But I just think that, one, it probably makes more sense to just buy food if you're really a beginner and just spend that money on food and, just get sleep and stuff like that and worry about this kind of stuff when you're a little bit more advanced. But two, when you say that you gain 10 pounds on your bench overnight, is that really turkesterone? Probably not. So that's just, a couple things that I took from that video, things that I've been preaching here for a while. At the end of the day, to kind of sum it up, I think you should go for the one that you can afford to take an efficacious dose of. So if turkesterone, obviously nobody can even get turkesterone right now, but if you could get it, I think a lot of people just can't afford to take an effective dosage, which is totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that, but you shouldn't be wasting your money and spending your hard-earned money that, is hard to come by, and then only taking like 1 or 2 capsules. You're just wasting it at that point. I think it makes more sense to go for a cheaper option if that's your situation. If you're somebody like me who, I can afford to get any of the brands and I can afford to take an effective dosage, to me, I think it makes sense to go for the most quality product. And I was testing Muscle Empire because at the end of the day, a lot of you guys were really coming to me saying, turkesterone is too expensive. That's why I went for Muscle Empire. And I found that it was effective. So I would recommend that for people who are on a budget. But at the end of the day, I think the quality products, the ones that are going to be the most effective overall, are probably going to be, the ones that are complex, which is Derek's turkesterone, which you can get, or, huge supplements, which, so far has been pretty good for me. I've only been taking it for probably around the same amount of time that Vitruvian Physique has been taking his turkesterone, but so far my numbers are pretty good. Just a quick little thing that I did today, slowly ramping up my numbers on the bench. Just did 325 for a set of 5. Probably could have even gotten more, maybe even 6 or 7. So my all-time max on bench on turkesterone, I got 315 for 7. So if I could get 325 for 7, I'm over 20 pounds lighter than when I was at my peak on turkesterone. So if I could actually up my 7 rep max, which is some arbitrary number, by 10 pounds while also losing over 20 pounds, that's really crazy. My PR before starting turkesterone, I got 315 for 5. Obviously, if I could get 325 for 5 today, and I probably could have got 1 or 2 more reps as well. Obviously, I've gotten stronger and I've gotten leaner. This is the leanest I've been for, 24 months or so. So things are going really well for me. And I think, I'm a prime example of, considering how far along in my journey I am, how plateaued I've been in terms of not being able to increase my bench max for like many, many months. I think that's really a good sign of what it can actually do. And I think I'm very excited to see what Igor can do here in the future, because he's so advanced that any progress that he makes, I think, can kind of be attributed to turkesterone. And I would hope that if he doesn't see results initially, he'd be willing to up his dosage, just because I think, maybe 4 caps probably is enough, but it might not be. So just throwing those things out there. Those are my thoughts on that video. So anyway, that's all I got to say about that. I'll keep you updated, and I'll talk to you soon.